Hey there, incredible friends and fellow story lovers. If you clicked on this video, it means you're ready for a tale that will grab your heart, squeeze it tight, and never let go. One filled with raw survival, unexpected kindness, unbreakable bonds, and a loyal dog who proves that heroes don't always wear capes. This is the kind of story that reminds us why we believe in second chances and the power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. If you're already feeling that pull in your chest, do me a huge favor right now. Smash that likey button with all your heart, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another emotional journey like this. Share it with someone who needs hope today. Now settle in, grab a tissue, and let's dive deep into the full, heart-wrenching, and ultimately triumphant story of a cop was left for dead until a single dad and his dog changed her fate. It was one of those unforgiving Chicago nights in late October, the kind where the rain doesn't just fall. It hammers down like it's trying to wash away every secret the city hides. Officer Emily Carter, 28 years old with bright blonde hair, usually pulled into a neat ponytail under her cap, was wrapping up what should have been a quiet shift. She had joined the force straight out of the academy 5 years earlier, driven by the memory of her father, a decorated detective who died in the line of duty when she was just 19. Emily wasn't just any cop. She was the one who stayed late to mentor rookies, the one who volunteered at youth programs on her days off, the one who still believed that one honest badge could change a neighborhood. Her blue uniform fit her slim frame perfectly, the badge on her chest gleaming even in the dim streetlights, and her name tag read, Carter, in bold letters. She was young, fierce, and full of fire. No one at the precinct could imagine her ever slowing down. But that night, everything shattered. Emily had responded to a tip about a suspicious vehicle idling in a narrow alley behind an abandoned warehouse on the south side. It looked routine at first, taillights flickering, two men inside who seemed jittery. She approached with her flashlight steady, hand resting lightly on her holster, calling in the plate number over the radio. Dispatch, this is Carter, Unit 472, running a 1028 on a black sedan. Possible narcotics activity. The words were barely out when the car doors flew open. Gunfire exploded, sharp, merciless cracks that tore through the rain. The first bullet slammed into her shoulder, spinning her sideways. The second ripped across her ribs, and the third grazed her thigh as she tried to drop and return fire. Pain exploded like white, hot fire through her body. She hit the wet pavement hard, her radio cracking against the concrete, her phone skittering into a puddle. The two assailants, members of the ruthless Rivera gang she'd been building a case against for months, stood over her for a second, laughing. One less pig sniffing around. One snarled before they peeled out, tires splashing through the alley and leaving her there. Emily lay gasping, blood mixing with rainwater, pooling around her. Her vision blurred at the edges, the world tilting. She could feel her strength draining with every heartbeat. Memories flooded in uninvited. Her dad's proud smile at her graduation, the way he'd said, "Kid, this badge is heavy, but it's worth every ounce." She thought of her small apartment, the half-finished painting on her easel, the plans she'd made to visit her mom in Florida next summer. "Not like this," she whispered through gritted teeth, fingers clawing at the ground. "I still have so much to do." But the darkness crept closer, her breath shallow and ragged. Sirens were nowhere. Backup never came in time. Officer Emily Carter, the young cop who had dedicated her life to saving others, was left for dead in that cold, filthy alley. Miles away in the quiet suburbs of Oak Park, Alex Thompson couldn't find sleep. 32 years old, with short dark hair and the kind of steady, kind eyes that came from years of holding his family together. Alex was a single dad trying to keep the pieces from falling apart. 2 years earlier, his wife Sarah had been killed in a drunk driving crash on the same highway. He still avoided driving at night. She had been the light of their little world, laughing, adventurous, the one who insisted they adopt Max, the energetic German shepherd puppy, right after their son Liam was born. Now it was just Alex, 7-year-old Liam, and Max in their modest 2-story home. Alex worked long hours as a mechanic at a local garage, fixing engines by day and fighting exhaustion by night. Liam was a quiet boy who missed his mom terribly, often drawing pictures of her and leaving them on the fridge. That rainy night, Alex's mind wouldn't quiet. He slipped on his jacket, clipped Max's leash, and headed out for their usual late walk through the park that edged the rougher parts of the city. "Come on, buddy," he murmured to the dog. "Maybe the rain will wash some of this heaviness away." Max was no ordinary dog, big, muscular, with a glossy black and tan coat and ears that never missed a sound. He had been Sarah's shadow. After her death, Max had become the family's silent guardian, sleeping at the foot of Liam's bed, nudging Alex when the grief got too loud. As they walked, the rain soaking them both, Max suddenly froze. His ears shot straight up. A deep, urgent growl rumbled in his chest, turning into sharp, insistent barks. He yanked hard on the leash, pulling Alex off the path toward the alley that bordered the park. "Max, easy." "What's wrong?" Alex called, shining his phone flashlight ahead. The beam cut through the downpour and landed on a crumpled figure in blue. A police uniform. Blood, a woman barely moving. Alex's heart slammed against his ribs. He dropped to his knees beside her without hesitation. "Oh God, no. Miss, can you hear me?" Emily's eyes fluttered open just a fraction, her lips moving soundlessly. Max didn't wait for instructions. The big dog whined softly and pressed his warm body against her side, sharing heat, his nose gently nudging her cheek as if to say, "Stay with us." Alex tore off his jacket and pressed it firmly against the worst of her wounds, his hands shaking but his voice steady. "My name is Alex. This is Max. Help is coming. You're not dying here tonight. Not on my watch." He dialed 911 with bloody fingers, voice cracking as he gave the location. While they waited, he kept talking to her, telling her about Liam's silly jokes, about how Max once stole an entire Thanksgiving turkey. Anything to keep her eyes open. "Fight, Emily," he said, reading her name tag. "You've got people who need you. We've got you now." The ambulance screamed into the alley minutes later. Paramedics loaded Emily onto a stretcher, her face pale but still breathing. Alex stood in the rain, Max leaning against his leg, both of them soaked and silent. The paramedics thanked him, but Alex couldn't shake the image of her eyes. Young, determined, fighting even as life slipped away. Back home, he cleaned up Liam, who had woken from the noise, and told him a gentle version of what happened. But inside, Alex couldn't stop wondering if she would make it. At Chicago General Hospital, the doctors worked miracles. Emily had lost too much blood. The bullets had nicked an artery and shattered bone in her leg. She coded twice in the ER. For 3 days she lay in the ICU, machines breathing for her, the beep of monitors her only company. When she finally opened her eyes on day 4, the pain was a living thing, but so was the gratitude when the nurse told her the full story. "A guy and his dog found you. Without them you wouldn't be here." Emily's throat tightened. Her own mother was hours away. Her department colleagues had sent flowers and cards, but no one was there holding her hand. She felt utterly alone, until the door opened and in walked Alex, with special permission for Max as a therapy animal. Max trotted straight to the bed, tail wagging softly, and rested his head on the edge of the mattress. Emily reached out, fingers sinking into his fur, and for the first time since the shooting, she cried real tears, not of pain, but of relief. "You came back," she whispered. Alex stood awkwardly by the bed, holding a cup of coffee. Couldn't stay away. "Max here paced the house like a maniac until I brought him." "How are you feeling, Officer Carter?" They talked for an hour that first visit. Her about the ambush, the gang she'd been targeting, him about losing Sarah, raising Liam, the way Max had pulled him through the darkest nights. By the end, Emily was laughing weakly at one of his stories. "Your dog is a hero," she said. Alex smiled. "He's not the only one." Weeks blurred into a slow, painful recovery. Emily's body mended inch by inch, physical therapy that left her sweating and cursing, nightmares that yanked her awake screaming the sound of gunshots. The department offered counseling, but it was Alex's daily visits that kept her grounded. He brought homemade soup, books, even a small sketch pad so she could draw again. When she was finally discharged after 23 days, the doctors warned her, no stairs, limited movement, months of rehab. Her tiny apartment wasn't equipped. Emily stared at the discharge papers, panic rising, until Alex spoke up from the doorway. "Our house has a ground floor guest room. Liam's excited to meet the real-life superhero. Max already thinks of you as Pac. Stay with us. Let us help you heal the way you protect this city every day." Emily hesitated, pride warring with exhaustion, but the look in Alex's eyes, steady, genuine, without a trace of pity, won her over. "Just until I can manage on my own," she agreed. That was the beginning of everything. The first night at Alex's house felt surreal. The cozy living room smelled of fresh laundry and dog treats. Liam, with his messy brown hair and wide, curious eyes, peeked from behind his dad's leg. "Are you really a cop? Did you catch bad guys?" Emily smiled through the pain of settling onto the couch and nodded. "Tried to. Your dad and Max caught me instead." Max curled up at her feet immediately, his big body a warm weight that somehow made the room feel safer. Alex helped her prop up her leg, adjusting pillows with gentle hands. That evening, as the rain tapped against the windows again, they sat together. Emily in her half-unbuttoned uniform shirt because changing was still hard, the scars on her chest and side still raw. Alex leaned in, carefully touching the edge of her badge. "This thing saved your life once. It's going to shine again." His fingers lingered a second longer than necessary. Max watched them both, ears perked as if approving. In that warm lamplight, with the dog beside her and Alex's quiet strength beside him, Emily felt the first real spark of hope since the alley. Life in the Thompson house unfolded day by day, each one layering emotional depth onto their growing bond. Mornings started with Max's gentle nudges waking Emily for her meds. Liam would climb onto the couch beside her, showing her his drawings, stick, figure cops and dogs saving the day. "You can teach me to be brave like you," he said one morning, his small voice cracking with the weight of missing his mom. Emily swallowed the lump in her throat and pulled him into a careful hug. "Bravery isn't about never being scared. It's about standing up anyway. Your dad does that every single day." Alex watched from the kitchen, heart swelling at the way his son lit up around her. Afternoons were for recovery. Alex drove her to physical therapy, waiting in the lobby with Max, then helped her stretch at home. One particularly tough session left her in tears on the living room floor. "I used to run 5 miles before shift. Now I can't even walk to the mailbox without wanting to scream." Alex knelt beside her, wiping her cheeks. "Hey, you survived bullets meant to kill you. This leg is just catching up. Max and I aren't going anywhere." That night, over pasta he cooked while Liam set the table, Emily opened up about her dad, the way he'd taken her on ride-alongs as a kid, the promise she'd made at his funeral. Alex shared Sarah's favorite memories, how she used to dance in the kitchen with Max, how Liam still kept her scarf under his pillow. The conversation stretched late, voices soft in the quiet house, laughter mixing with tears. But healing wasn't linear. The nightmares came hard. One night Emily woke screaming, reliving the gunshots, clutching her side. Max was there instantly, jumping onto the bed despite the rules, his heavy head on her chest, warm breath steadying her racing heart. She buried her face in his fur and sobbed until Alex appeared in the doorway, Liam trailing sleepily behind. "He's your dog now too," Alex said quietly, sitting on the edge of the bed. From then on, Max slept at the foot of her bed every night, a living shield against the darkness in her mind. Then came the real test, the challenge that nearly broke them all. The Rivera gang hadn't forgotten. A crooked informant leaked that Emily was alive and recovering in Oak Park. 2 weeks into her stay, at 2 a.m., Max erupted in ferocious barking from the living room. Glass shattered in the back door. Alex grabbed the baseball bat he kept by the bed. Emily, still limping, reached for the service weapon the department had returned to her. "Lum, stay upstairs," she shouted. The intruder burst in, one of the shooters from the alley, knife flashing. Max launched like a missile, tackling the man and pinning him with 85 pounds of protective fury. Alex swung the bat, cracking the attacker's arm. Emily, despite the fire in her leg, moved with trained precision, disarming him and cuffing him to the radiator while calling for backup. Sirens wailed minutes later. As the officers hauled the man away, Emily collapsed onto the couch, breathing hard, Max licking her face clean of tears. Alex pulled her into his arms for the first time, not as a helper, but as someone who had almost lost her again. "We did it together," he whispered. Liam peeked down the stairs, eyes wide. "Max saved us all." That night changed everything. The department reopened the full investigation with Emily's detailed testimony. She spent hours at the station, leg propped on a chair, describing faces, voices, the exact sequence of the ambush. Alex drove her every time, Max riding shotgun like a partner. Back home, the three of them, plus Liam, grew even closer. Emily started helping with homework, teaching Liam basic self-defense moves on the living room rug. "You're part of this family now," Alex told her one evening while they washed dishes side by side. Their hands brushed, and neither pulled away. The slow burn of something deeper than friendship had been building for weeks. Stolen glances, shared silences. The way he looked at her when she laughed with Liam. One rainy afternoon, after a particularly grueling therapy session, Emily stood in the kitchen and said it out loud. "I don't know how to thank you for any of this. You've given me back my life." Alex turned, cupped her face gently, and kissed her, soft, tentative, full of everything words couldn't say. Max barked once in approval from the doorway. Challenges kept coming, but so did resolutions. Emily faced the internal battle of whether she could return to patrol. What if the fear wins next time? She confessed during one of their late night couch talks, the exact scene captured in that warm living room moment. Her sitting there in her uniform shirt, scars healing, Alex beside her gently touching her badge. Max pressed against her side like a sentinel. "Then we face it together," Alex answered. "You taught Liam that bravery is standing up scared. Show yourself the same grace." Meanwhile, Liam's school troubles surfaced. He was being bullied for being the kid without a mom. Emily marched in with Alex, spoke to the principal, and even gave a short assembly on kindness and courage. The bullying stopped. Liam came home beaming, hugging her tight. "You're my hero too." The community rallied in ways that still bring tears. Neighbors heard the story through local news and organized a fundraiser barbecue in the park. Money poured in for Emily's medical bills and a new bulletproof vest. Strangers sent cards addressed to the cop and the dog who refused to die. At the gang trial 2 months later, Emily took the stand in her dress uniform, voice steady despite the pain in her leg. Max waited outside with Alex and Liam. When the verdict came, guilty on all counts, the shooters locked away for life. Emily walked out of the courthouse into Alex's arms, Liam cheering, Max barking joyfully. Recovery stretched into spring. Emily's legs strengthened. The nightmares faded to distant echoes. She chose not to return to street patrol but to community outreach instead, working with at-risk kids, bringing Max along as an official therapy dog. "He saved me," she told the precinct captain. "Now he can save others." Alex proposed one golden evening in the backyard, down on one knee with Liam holding the ring box and Max wearing a tiny bow tie. "You walked into our lives bleeding and left us whole. Marry us." Emily said yes through happy tears. Today, years later, the four of them, Emily, Alex, Liam, and Max, are a family in every sense. They sit on that same living room couch some evenings, the lamp glowing softly, Emily's badge now pinned beside a new family photo. The young cop who was left for dead found life again through a single dad's quiet courage, a little boy's open heart, and a dog's unwavering loyalty. The scars remain, but so does the proof that no one is ever truly alone. If this story touched something deep inside you, the way survival meets kindness, the way a dog can heal what bullets break, please do it again, like this video with everything you've got. Subscribe if you haven't, drop a comment telling me which part made you tear up the most, and share it far and wide. Stories like Emily, Alex, and Max's remind us that in our darkest alleys, hope can still find us. Never stop believing in second chances. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay kind, and keep your hearts open.